Hello guys, Mr. Wednesday here, back at it with another video. Today I'm trying to make a really short video. Actually, this is going to be a 5-part series. Many people have asked me to actually condense the video I made in regards to Arena because it was too long, and I to some degree do agree with that. I do understand many of you do not have the time to sit around for 90 minutes and discuss Arena, so I'll just condense all the videos into smaller parts. So in today's video we will be covering synergies first of all, and then I'll cover other things in later videos. So let's talk synergies for arena and for your tech team arena videos teams. Great commentary there. Okay, so first of all, we have your speed teams, which will divide into two. Your basic speed team, basically speed booster into debuffer into nuker, and then we'll discuss your blender teams as well. So let's choose a champion here. Given that this is just for the purposes of the video, I'll go with arbiter. Many of you will have her. If you still have not got her, you can basically come down here to that website and check out which other champions give you speed lead aura for arena or for all battles, and choose one that fits your team. Now, amongst all of these champions here, I would honestly not go with any of the rares, just in my opinion, apart from no, actually basically just no rares. When it comes to epics, Archmage and Deacon are top tier here. Cardinal is really nice. He's Void Legendary, so again, not many of you will have him. But Haikatun is somebody who everybody will have. She's, again, really great for the arena, as your speed lead, as your booster. And amongst others, we have somebody like Gorgorab, Skull Crown again. Mortu is actually really good in the arena as well. Lysandra, Forshan, Prince Kaimer, etc. So you can find amongst in this list somebody you can use for your speed lead, if we're talking about speed teams. Now let's go with arbiter, and then let's say arbiter is also your fastest champion. She's obviously going to be using her A3 skill, so in this drop list here you choose which skill the champions will use, then you check how many speed sets you have. This also counts for the divine speed set, so I do want to say that you will always go with 3 speed sets of any variety for your speed lead, in a very difficult situation where perhaps speed gear isn't your fastest, which would just mean you're very unlucky with the speed rolls. Perhaps some other sets are the ones you have more speed on. That's okay. In that case, go with those. And then obviously you will want to have a lot of steel on your speed champions, of course. Then let's say her speed is 310, and that's basically all the input you need. Then when we go to the second champion, we have 2 options. Let's check somebody like Apothecary, who's a rare. He's again going to be using his A3, which is his boost ability. And then let's say you're going for Rian, the Conjurer, who's basically a free epic you get from the Doom Tower. And then let's say your nuker is perhaps somebody like a Kyle. Now again, all of these are very interchangeable. You can choose any nukers, any debuffers. It's all up to you. This is just for the purposes of the video. Now in this case, we basically check nothing else. This is all set and done. These are the speeds you need to hit to be fully speed tuned. Now what does the fully speed tuned mean? It means you will never get cut in on in arena. Basically your champions will go one after the other, and your opponent will not be able to cut in on you and basically turn the table in that way. Now let's say perhaps you have somebody else. Let's say you have a Deacon Armstrong. Now he is going to be using his A3, but in this case, given that he does decrease the turn meter as well, you do need to check for the LA accuracy here, so that you actually tell the calculator that, oh okay, I will also have enough accuracy to debuff or basically steal the turn meter of the opponent and give it 15% boost to myself. In those cases you can see the speeds dropping down by a bit. And again, these are now the new speeds you will need to actually, again, not get cut in on. Given that Deacon also places decrease down decreased defense debuff, you can now go perhaps with 2 nukers. Let's say you have, I don't know, whoever, Ray. She's a legendary, again, just for the purposes of the video. Not all of you will have her. Maybe you have a different nuker. Maybe you have a, I don't know, Gala, Sinesha, basically whoever, Skull Crown, another epic who's good here. It does not matter. This is just for the purposes of showing off the speeds. Now, you always need to input all 4 champions. I'm gonna explain why I say that right here, right now. So let's say we have, can I actually go back to none? Yes, I can. Okay, so let's just go back to none. Now, let's say we're building a blender team. Now, with blender team, let's say you're going with Farakin, who's an epic, and who many people will have, or actually even better, let's go with Krila. She was a fusion, so perhaps even more of you will have her. Now let's say we're going with Krila, right? Now many of you would think, okay, so this is the speed I have on my Arbiter, this is the speed I need to reach on my Krila, and that's the end of it when you're building a blender team. But it's actually not, because of the speed ticks that happen, and you actually need to show the calculator that, oh, I'll be using 4 champions and not just 2, because you'll see as how the speeds change as I input more champions. And then we finally have Sinesha, and as you can see, from 241 we are now at 259 speed. Actually, just to be safe, for your in-game speed, it should say 260 at least for you to be speed tuned. Now these 2 speeds over here are irrelevant. You do not need to check those. Your Skull Crown can basically be 120 speed for all I care. Mine actually, I believe, is at 120 speed. Because with a blender team, you're actually expecting to basically just go first, nuke down the enemy with the A1s and be done with it, so you do not plan on actually having to prolong the fight, right? Now let's discuss other options which are not related to speed tuning your teams. Now that would be a go second team, which we can divide into 2 different possibilities. Now again, here I'm not going to be talking about specific teams like Hegemon teams, Torment teams, any other type of like Valk teams, or maybe Molly teams. Even though Molly was a fusion and many of you would maybe have her, I'm not going to be discussing the champion specific teams in that way, because many of those are void legendaries and I know not everybody will have them. I will mention Cardinal because she's an epic, and I understand many people will get her, perhaps, if you're lucky enough. Now Cardinal actually allows for a very, very interesting go second team. The way you build it basically is you build Cardinal with tons of tankiness and then also some resistance, so you do not get crowd controlled. And then actually you build everybody else with the least amount of tankiness you can, basically as squishy as possible, right? So how would you go about building that team? I'm just gonna input it here, even though, as I said, it's not important when it comes to speeds. I just want to basically show off how it would work. So let's say you go with Cardinal, right? Now, you should choose a different champion here who is going to be a debuffer. Let's say again it's Rian the Conjurer, just for the purposes of the video. And then let's say you have 2 nukers. Let me think about who we could use. Again, let's go with Kyle, why not? And let's go perhaps with Skull Crown. Now, what you do need to do is basically have Cardinal at enough speed as well, with correct masteries. I'll be explaining masteries in the next video. Now, you do need her to have correct masteries to boost her turn meter as your other champions die. And actually, now that I think about it, Skull Crown isn't ideal here because she does have the unkillable she places on herself. So let's just quickly change her to, let's say, just Sinesha again for the purposes of the video. Now, the idea is all of the opponent's champions will go, they'll try to nuke you down, your Cardinal will survive, in which case she will also gain a lot of turn meter from everybody else dying, while actually dropping below 25% HP. And in that case she boosts her turn meter, and then she revives everybody with maximum turn meter. Now in this case, let's say your Ryan has 180 speed. You do want, even though everybody will get maximum turn meter, you still want them to go in the correct order. So your debuffer should still have more speed shown in game than your two nukers, basically, because then she will go first. Even though everybody has full and max turn meters, she will go first based on the amount of speed she has, and then the two following champions that will go will be your two nukers. Now that we covered the Cardinal team, let's talk about strictly go second teams. So what champions do I advise bringing in a go second team? I advise bringing a cleanser for sure. I actually got asked yesterday on Reddit, so I'm gonna plug it in here just for a second. I'll have a showcase on the champion as well. Well, many others do, but I do want to plug him in here. Like Hackhorn Smashlord is top tier for stuff like this. Scatix, who's the epic in Lizardman, I believe, is also awesome for this. Then we have champions who are great, perhaps like Skytouch Shaman, like Cardinal, like who else? Mausoleum Mage. Basically anybody who can cleanse all of the debuffs you have on yourself. Now, what do you want on then champion? You have two possible options. One is immunity gear, in which case you'll just basically be immune to all the debuffs unless the immunity is cleansed off. And then the other way around you can go about it is actually building a lot of resistance. Now, we're strictly talking about general arena here, so I'm not going to be speedballing numbers. When it comes to resistance, as high as possible, obviously. Many people will say you need 800 resistance. I'm not going to strictly agree nor disagree with that number. I'm sure that based on where you are, in what tier, if you're talking like general, classic arena, gold 4 even, you do not need that amount of resistance. If again, on the other hand, we're talking like gold 2 plus in tag team arena, a lot of resistance is needed, 600, 700 for you to resist all the basically top arena players in this game. So you will want a lot of resistance on that champion, and as well a lot of tankiness, so he actually survives the initial damage output from your enemies. Then he'll cleanse the team. In a DL situation, that's also the champion that places block debuffs, which all the champions I have mentioned do. And then your team gets to go. And then your team can consist of basically anything you want. It can be, again, I would advise bringing in at least one healer, again, one debuffer, and one nuker. Now, your nukers should either be somebody who's HP based, so they can survive the initial damage output, like let's say Magnar, who's an epic. You could always bring somebody who's even attack based, who has some sort of passive that will help him or her survive, like maybe even a Skull Crown who does place the unkillable on herself, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Maybe you can bring in somebody like Leorius, who again is a Void Legendary, so I try and not mention them. You can bring in somebody like Kendraphone, Rotos, Mountain King, I'm not sure if I mentioned him. You can basically bring anybody who is able to, through some way, survive the initial damage. If you do not have a champion like that, then what you do is bring a reviver in, right? Instead of a healer, perhaps you have like a healer reviver type of champion, like let's say Rector Dread, just for again purposes of the video. There's many other different ones you can bring in. That's just an example. Who is going to revive your nuker, right? And that way allow you to actually go back and deal the damage on the opponent now. Now, as far as the teams for the arena, otherwise, there's no other type of team you can actually build. It can either be go first team, in which case you just bet on being faster, or it's going to be a go second team. There's also a lot of anti-teams, like anti-Hedgie, anti-Warlord, anti-Tormin, forgot his name for a second there. Again, all of those are truly specific, so I'll actually cover the specific type of teams in another video, because I do not want this one to be too long. That's actually going to lead us to the end of this video, and then actually in the following four we'll be covering different things when it comes to the arena. Thank you all for stopping by. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If I perhaps forgot to mention anything here that you would like to see here or perhaps understand better, just drop it down in the comments below, and I'll actually go back and add it to the other 4 videos I'll be dropping in the next 4 days. Much love, and until the next video. My voice just cracked. Mr. Wednesday, signing out.